Well, welcome back. Is it really time to start holiday shopping? And the latest job report could be followed by a long-awaited move by the Federal Reserve. Employers added 142,000 jobs in August, with the unemployment rate dropping a fraction to 4.2%. The report is consistent with the labor market that is slowing down, which is exactly what the Fed wants to see. And it may be September, but millions of Americans are already getting ready for December. A survey from Bankrate finds 12% of Americans started buying holiday gifts this month, and another 13 made purchases in August. Inflation will be high on shoppers' minds. 76% of Americans say they expect to spend the same or less than last year. For the first time yesterday, the 14-year-old suspect facing felony murder charges for the killing of 4 people, including 2 teachers and 2 students at a Georgia high school, appeared in court yesterday. The suspect's father, who police say bought him the gun used in the shooting, is also now facing 2 counts of second-degree murder. If the suspected gunman is convicted, he faces life without parole, and his father could get 180 years behind bars if he's found guilty. Well, at least 25,000 pro-Palestinian supporters protested in London on Saturday, exactly 11 months after the Hamas killing spree in southern Israel that killed more than 1,200, launched and attacked 40,000 are believed to have died. A handful of arrests of mostly counter-protesters were made during a largely peaceful demonstration.
The Fargo Dome electric, the fans ecstatic, the team ready to ball out. We'll show you North Dakota State's dominant home opening win and a whole lot more next. It's sports.